It's just not
Right.
feasible sometimes.
Another thing that we don't take, because now a lot of times we'll stay at bed and breakfasts, especially if they have
Haunted
paranormal
claims.
Another thing that we won't take is the spirit box. Because,
SB7, SB11.
yeah, that's just because of the noise. You guys heard it last night. The you know, if you're in a bed and breakfast and people hear that, they're going to kick you out. You know,
For sure.
we just leave it at home.
Yeah,
you
you
know.
just want to be respectful of other guests as well.
Yeah, that's just common sense. So we just do regular EVP sessions, and people think we're just talking to each other.
Yeah, and I would highly suggest not taking a stuffed animal, Boo Bear type thing.
I don't know. You start dressing that thing up like one of the family, you're gonna have words.
And I tell you this because one, it's going
You
to
want
take
a
up a lot of
stroller?
space. It has electronic components in it that if it's going through a scan, it's going to be like, oh,
Yeah, they're
okay,
gonna be,
what's
why
wrong?
is your stuff?
Why is it wired? You
And
know.
why do you have this detonator next to it? Yeah.
But also, I traveled with a teenager, not mine. Clearly, we said we don't have children. But I traveled with a teenager one time, and for whatever reason, they were allowed to pack their suitcase for the first time by themselves. And this girl brought like 15 stuffed animals with her. She had like a bag. Her suitcase was like 3 outfits, 20 pairs of socks, and like 15 stuffed animals. And she actually got searched at the airport because
yeah.
she was older, so she shouldn't have had all these toys. Like little tiny kids. They're gonna be like, oh yeah, that kid has that. And maybe they'll like pull them off to the side and say, hey, can I see your friend? That kind of thing. They're like, seriously, why do you have so many stuffed animals? They're literally going through her luggage like nobody's business. And asking her about each one, they're feeling everything just to make sure that there was no reason that this teenager is bringing this stuff with him. So I wouldn't bring the Boo Bear. It's big, it's bulky, it's got electronic components
It's
everywhere,
creepy.
and it talks. So yeah,
Yeah.
so I wouldn't bring that.
Yeah. Boo Bear's staying home.
But Boo Bear can go on road trips with you. You know, he can sit in
I
the
wouldn't
back
take him on a
seat.
plane. All right. So
Those are our top ones.
okay, so we've covered what you need to take, what you shouldn't take, how you pack stuff up. So you got that little bag there.
Yeah, I kind of put, this is like just a cosmetic bag, and it has a lot of pockets. So I generally stick that down inside of my ghost hunting backpack if I'm going to a location we drive to. If not, then I'll use
Oh,
the
I got another tip for you too. If you do take a K2
It's a good
meter,
one.
put a label on it of your name, okay? Or even better yet, take one of those inscribers and put your name on it, because and I keep going back to Key West, but the ghost, what's the name of that tour?
Ghost and Gravestones.
Ghost and Gravestones, you go on their ghost hunt, they give you K2 meters that you can use, okay? Now, if they do that, I'll leave mine in my pocket. Like if they provide one for you. But since I have a label on it, when they started passing them out, I'm like, look, this is mine, okay? You know, because when you go to leave, they're going to like, hey, give me your kit, you know.
Yeah, they
No, this is
want to
mine.
count their stuff back. But
So-
also, I thought you were going to say take a nail file or a screwdriver with you.
Yeah, yeah.
They,
The screws.
K2s are, the battery component is screwed in, and you cannot get in there unless you unscrew it. There's no like thing that you just slide on and off. You know, sometimes you get those battery pack areas where you can slide them on and off and not
Not
put
those.
the battery screw in. Not these. Literally, the entire back has to come off, and it has 2 screws that hold the back on. There's no slip slide on there. So if you don't put those fresh batteries in there before you leave, and you think that you're going to be ghost hunting a lot, it might die out on you, gotta have something to get in that little thing. And trust me, as strong as you might think your fingernails are sometimes, they don't work. I've tried it.
Okay, so I just thought of 2 more things to talk about.
Okay.
All right, so the one thing I want to talk about is, you know, if you're going to go to a location and you're not 100% sure whether they embrace paranormal claims or not, just do a little bit of research, okay? St. Augustine's a prime example. All over St. Augustine, there's paranormal claims everywhere. But there's certain hotels there that they don't want to talk about it. And if you bring it up, they will kick you out.
So like
Okay.
we don't have any ghosts here.
So you could do a little bit of research on websites and stuff like that. If you hit a place and on their website they have like ghost stories or ghost tours or something like that, you're good, okay? But if
they
it's a
don't
higher
mention it at
end
all.
and they don't want to do it, normally locations that have like a wedding venue, they don't want to do it, or high-end hotel or something like that, or restaurant or something, the Versace place, they would not let us in. They weren't even open yet. They would not let us in just to take pictures, and we had ghost hunting shirts on, you know. So, you know, and it's not worth starting a scene, you know. So just it is what it is. At that place, I just stood across the street and snapped all kinds of pictures, taking the guys off. So.
Yeah, but he was killed right out on the steps, wasn't he?
Yeah, but there was actually paranormal claims before that.
Oh.
That place was, before he even bought it, had
Oh.
stuff. So I wanted to go just right inside the doors and get stuff inside. And they're like, no, you know, whatever. But we've had a couple of hotels where we were at, and you just want to research a little bit before. Now, if they do, like here, they embrace it.
Yeah, they're like, go for it.
The employees, okay, people that work at night, security guards, the managers, all that, a wealth of resource. You know, talk to them. They can tell you
What have you
stories.
heard?
Boom. You
Have you
know.
experienced anything on your own?
Yeah. There's another one in St. Augustine. I forget the name of it, but they absolutely say, if people ask us about paranormal all the time, and the employees have never experienced anything, there's been 4 deaths in the hotel, and it's a hotel. You know it's got something going on, but they don't want to talk about it because they're high-end suites.
And
you know.
they're,
So,
for people have an idea that, you know, if it's haunted, you're either going to get a lot of guests who are coming there for it being haunted, or it's going to scare everybody away because it's haunted.
yeah.
And so the high-end type hotels and things like that, they're more afraid of scaring away their guests, then people aren't going to want to stay there. And so they don't embrace it. But just your normal run-of-the-mill hotel, you know, places that really, they have famous ghosts that make them more famous. They're adamant. Yes, come on in. Let's do it. Let's take care of it now. But
Yeah,
if they're not,
selling
if they're not a famous ghost and they're a high-end, classy place, they're going to tell you no. There's nothing here. There's never been anything here. No. So.
What's the best experience you guys have ever had?
While traveling,
Yeah,
best experience.
with the paranormal.
Well, for me, I'm gonna
They're
let
all
you do your
great.
thing.
They're all great.
For
Go
me,
ahead.
the Lizzie Borden house was the best experience for me because I've been a big Lizzie buff for a while, and I kind of think I know a lot about her. I've read the trial transcripts. I even played her in a retrial of her, and I got to literally go and sit in her room. I got to lay
Stayed
on
in
the
her
floor. I didn't stay in her room. We stayed in
The guest room.
the
where
guest
Abby was
room
killed.
where Abby was killed. But
Wow.
literally, I was sleeping in a house that is very famous. I got to, you know, see things that she actually physically owned, books of hers that she had written her name on and things in her bedroom. It was awesome. And then we did some investigating there that night because we stayed the night. And we got several things. We got, left our recorders running in our room all night, so besides us snoring, we actually heard footsteps walking
Something
around in
came
our
up to her
room.
bed. Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. And downstairs where the father was killed, we were kind of explaining how to use the equipment, and we got this giggle on recording
Yeah,
that's kind of like,
seriously?
what do you think, I'm
Yeah.
stupid? You know, so
I
that
very
recording is very
seldom,
cool.
I very seldom while we're out you know, and I started to do it last night, but very rarely when I'm doing a recording will I play it back then, okay? But while we were at the Lizzie Borden house, there was a period of time, maybe for about 2 hours, we were the only ones in the house because the other people that were staying there went out, you know. They went out and we're just go have a drink, that kind of thing. It was like a birthday party or something. We were the only ones there. So we were doing an EVP session. I had the K2 meter sitting where Mr. Borden was killed, and I was sitting across from him in a chair with my recorder sitting here. And I said, you know, you can communicate with us. Just go over, see that light over there, you wave your hand, or talking to this orange light or whatever. And the cackle, it goes, seriously? So for some reason, I picked it up and played it back. And that freaked me out for 4 months. I could not listen to EVPs. I'm like, that's it, I'm done. You know, because that was creepy, you know. In Lizzie Borden's house, where, you know, yeah, okay. So
she was acquitted, by the way.
That was a good experience.
She was acquitted, but I think she did it.
Oh, yeah.
Now that I think about it, I think my favorite experience was Dealey Plaza in Dallas.
Okay.
The whole JFK stuff. I'm, you know, Lincoln and JFK and all that stuff, but I'm big into that. But we were in Dealey Plaza. We were in Dallas for 3 days. I was down there in her conference all 3 days in Dealey Plaza.
No. Me, I'm in my conference. He's standing in Dealey Plaza for 3 days.
Has anybody ever been there?
No.
No? They have an X in the street where Kennedy was shot. And there's no way that he could have made that shot from the book. So we were all over there and took the tour of it and all that stuff like that. But we met up with this guy. He was actually
Kid.
yeah, he was a kid at the time. He was there with his grandmother, and they were in the corner. Like when they turned the corner past the book depository, he was standing right there, and then he came up. But this guy was down there in Dealey Plaza by the picket fence, and he was a consultant for Oliver Stone for the JFK movement. And he just goes down there. He's retired now, so he goes down there when people come down, and he has like a pamphlet and that kind of stuff, and he tells his story, you know, what he saw when he was there, and he witnessed the gunpowder, the smoke from the gun coming from the picket fence. I saw it right there, you know. That was an awesome experience for me. I actually recorded it, and, but that was probably my favorite. And we redid the Zapruder film. She stood up on the thing, that kind of stuff. So that answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't think I have anything else. You guys have any questions?
Did you say you guys toured Boothville, Arizona?
No.
No.
I was there. That was one of the places that we stopped on the way.
Okay.
And I was very young, but it was awesome.
It was awesome.
From what I can remember.
We've
I
not
wish I
actually
could-
been to Arizona at all.
No.
I can't
So-
even recite at least one of the tombstones because it was just so unique that it was a rhyme. And I'm like, okay, this poor guy died, he was shot, but they at least made it a very memorable, so it was neat.
Very cool. Anybody else?
Have you been to Colorado, the SD?
Yes. Yes, we were
I
in
was there.
Estes Park.
Stanley
We stayed
Hotel?
at the Stanley. Mm-hmm.
Did you like it?
Oh, I did,
You did?
yeah.
Yeah.
I liked the experience. I liked the hotel and everything. I don't
Yeah.
like
He
that
doesn't
part.
like the.
I can't breathe when I'm.
He doesn't like the altitude.
My sister lives in Colorado, so.
We've been to Denver twice. Normally, like day 2, I
See, I'm the
can't
same way.
breathe. I'm
Her
just,
daughter
I
got
can't
married, I
breathe.
couldn't even dance on the dance floor
Yeah.
because I couldn't breathe.
And then
Yeah.
Estes Park is up higher. You know, it's like,
Her
seriously?
daughter got married in Colorado Springs.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so that's another ghost hunting tip. Take a bottle of water with you.
Yeah.
Because if you're in a high altitude, they say drink a lot of hydration, drink a lot of water. That's helpful. But also, when you go on these ghost tours, there's not like a snack shop for you. There's not a place to go to
Yeah,
the
sometimes you
bathroom.
might be out for 2.5 hours,
but,
and
you know,
yeah, they don't
sometimes you get thirsty. Sometimes you need a little hydration. So
especially in July. You know, you're out walking for a couple of miles.
That's out, yeah.
Yeah.
She had a question too.
What made you guys get into this? Like, what was your calling? Like what?
All right, so we got married in 2006, and for part of our honeymoon, we went to St. Augustine.
Okay.
And so we toured around there. We went to all the normal, touristy spots and checked everything out. And then in 2010, we went back there just as a vacation. And just before that, the ghost shows got popular on TV, and he started this Panic D database with, all the paranormal locations and claims and things. So he was kind of getting into that a little bit, but we hadn't gone anywhere ghost
Yeah,
hunting
we've
or
never
anything.
went.
He just
ghost
has
hunting.
a
I'm like, yeah,
technology
whatever.
background.
I was just documenting, the shows and just making like a database. It was actually a hobby, but we never went ghost hunting. Actually, I would be honest with you, when I started Panic D, I didn't believe in this stuff. It's all hooey, you know what I mean? And, yeah, okay, so keep going.
So anyway, we were going back there and we said, well, what can we do that's different? We love this town, but we don't want to do just the same things again. So we said, let's find something else that we can do. And I found on the St. Augustine Lighthouse, I found that they had this tour you could go on at night.
And that's when she bought that camera.
Yes.
With the gun, because we were going at night.
Yeah,
so.
and we were driving, so we didn't have to worry about planes or anything. So I said, let's do this. It'll be totally different. Like, who's gonna say they went up in a lighthouse in the middle of the night, like a lighthouse keeper? We don't have those anymore. They're all automated. So we got the tickets for that. We went down for this tour. And
That was our first ghost hunt.
we didn't
Not
realize
a tour,
it
but
was a ghost hunt.
We didn't realize.
We didn't understand that at the time. And we got there and
And
they...
in the beginning, let me stop you just
Go
for a
ahead.
second. You guys watch the ghost shows. What is the best part of the ghost shows to you?
Proof of the evidence.
I like the sightings.
The history.
The history?
the sightings.
See, that's the part that I love, is in the beginning, when they tell you the history, and here's the claims, and da-da-da, and then, okay, we're gonna prove it or disprove it, that kind of stuff. But that first part, when we went to the lighthouse, we took the tour in 2006 during the day, but when we went at night and did that tour, I'm
Totally
like,
different tour.
wow, are you kidding me? Did they get footsteps down in the keepers? Where's this coming from? We didn't hear this when we were here before. So that's what I'm saying, the ghost tour stories are better. But if you do the historical part and you could tie the two together,
Right.
just do them both.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway,
So
sorry, go
then
ahead.
we get there, and once we found out that we were supposed to meet in the back, which they didn't say that, we went to the front and it was all locked. And we're like,
That's all locked up.
okay.
I'm like,
I have
great, we
tickets.
wasted that money.
But once we finally found out where we were supposed to be, they had a little table there and they had a bunch of these devices on it. And they're like, hey, for $5, you can rent one of these and I'll tell you that there's ghosts here. And
I'm like, yeah.
he says, yeah. And I'm like, do you want to? You're kind of getting into that ghosty thing, And he's like, nah, it's a waste of money. And so we're like, okay, so here we are, we're in this, really haunted location, and we didn't really realize we were on a ghost hunt in the first place, but then we turned down the opportunity to have ghost hunting equipment.
So we have to go back.
Yes.
Now that we know what we know.
So then the following night, we said, hey, let's go on another, they have other ghost tours, so we went on this other one, and we got something that flew across the night vision camera in the old Spanish military hospital.
So you remember last night when I was teaching you guys how to take the digital pictures and all that kind of stuff? That's what we learned on these tours. They're like, here, do this. And almost every ghost tour that we go to, they do that same spiel, especially in Gettysburg. You take 3 or 4 pictures of the same angle, that kind of stuff. Here's what to look for. And I had that little night vision gun, and we're in the Spanish military hospital. Now mind you, this is mid-July in St. Augustine, Florida.
So it's a lot.
80, 90 degrees, humid, horrible, even at night. And we went in the Spanish military hospital. As you noticed, I'm a big guy. I like my groceries. So I'm like sweating profusely, being outside. We walked down there. So when we went inside, I found that the air duct blowing air conditioning, and I stood back there to let that cool me down. And I'm shooting this guy as he's talking. So I had air blowing over top of me. And during his presentation, I got an orb that come right across the camera. It lit up on that camera. So after the tour, he said, well, if you guys have anything, bring it up and let us look at it. And I showed it to him, and he goes, well, that could just be a bug. I'm like, dude, we were in the closed hospital, and I had the air blowing. That's not a bug. What is this? And he went and looked in his book, and that was one of the claims, is that they see the lantern move across the thing. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's the beginning. That started me getting kind of curious. So I started looking at other people's research or evidence and that kind of stuff and adding it to Panic D. And then 2 years later, I'm like, I know we stopped at the Talamano Cemetery, because we asked the guy when we were looking at that stuff at that same time, what's the most haunted place in town? He goes, that cemetery down the street right there, Talamano Cemetery, I don't go down there. That place is evil, creepy, don't go. So what do? Well, you're going to Talamano Cemetery.
Go to Talamano
right?
Cemetery. You can't tell me not to go there. I'm going to
So
want
it's
to go
about,
there.
I think we for maybe 12:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever. It's real late at night. This town shuts down at like 8. You know, there's nobody around.
Yeah, the road sidewalk up.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
So
amazing.
we're recording in the over the fence in the cemetery. So 3 years after we did it, it's been out 2013. I play it back, and we caught our first EVP at that cemetery. So after that, that was it.
Then he's like,
It's like,
well, we
what
need to
else
go
could
back
we
to more
find?
of these places.
We got to
and
go
that's
to more places and do more
pretty
stuff
much it.
and see what's going on.
Long story for your short question.
Yeah, we get a little long-winded. That's what happens being educated.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Did you go to the cemetery across the lake here?
No, but I have heard of it, and I know that there's some documentation for those.
We'll be
The
back when it's
Historical
warmer.
Society did some repair and, so,
Is it real nice now?
yeah, it's small, but
Yeah.
very, very, very old,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of history. We walked through it in summer.
Okay.
So if you
Yeah,
ever get a
we
chance,
also find that we're fair-weathered ghost hunters. We don't like the cold, so we will have to come back in the summer too.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
did a
Investigation. Thanksgiving weekend, right?
Thank you.
I knew where you were going.
Thanksgiving weekend, we investigated a place that didn't have electric or heat or anything like that. It was like 53 degrees, and I'm like,
And that was
never
outside,
again.
so then inside it was even colder and it was
I had like hand
ridiculous.
warmers all over me, and my ears and everything, and I'm like, oh no. And I'm like, never again. It's
Yeah, we tend to go in the warmer climates now, or at least the warmest part of the year for those locations.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Anything else?
Anything here, walking through?
Oh, we got some stuff
We got
last
some
night.
stuff on the
Was it
ghost hunt last
302,
night.
right?
302 was the most popular. It kind of had K2 hits. It had lots of flashlight action.
Direct question and answers.
Right, when we would
Somebody tell them
ask a
stuff.
question, it would respond.
Yes,
Yes, yeah.
Who asked that question?
She did.
Yeah, I did.
I meant to say that. There's 2 things I forgot to say before we started. Number 1, please don't provoke, okay? But number 2, if you ask or you want us to leave and we get a response, we have to leave. You want us to leave? Boom.
Bam.
We're done.
Okay, right
And
on.
it was the most active spot. It was like things started rocking and rolling. Like, okay.
Yeah. But
Next time
also,
you ask that
up in 321, we had the little Boo Bear,
Yeah.
and he asks questions. And at one point, he asked, or he said, basically that he felt somebody touching him, and he said, I like getting hugs from you.
Yeah, your thing
And
said
one
hug.
of the other
Wasn't
groups,
her.
no, it
Yeah.
wasn't her.
Wasn't her?
No,
Oh,
she's
my
not,
God.
she's not
She's
here,
not
no. One of the other people on the tour had an obelisk, that like ours, but theirs was reacting much better in that room, and it actually came up hug.
It said hug
It said
before he
It
said
said
it,
hug,
like
it
right
said
before
I
And it's like,
he said it.
the
yeah.
2 of them combined, it's like, okay, maybe there's something to that, maybe, you know,
2 times?
yeah.
If you like this video and like to see more in the future, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and give us a like below. Also, if you have any comments or suggestions for future videos, please leave them in the comment section. Thanks for watching this episode of Our Haunted Travels.